Good morning, everyone. So, this is your first class of material construction in this semester. And so far, all over, we have learned about doors, arches, walls, disaster prone buildings, and roofs, and many more things. In this semester, we are going to focus mostly on finishes like wall cladding, paneling, false ceiling, and the material involved in all of those. And side by side in interior services, we are also learning about thermal insulation, sound insulation, acoustics, ventilation, etc. So combined with that, you're going to get a pretty good command on most of the interior finishes by the time we are finished with this semester. So your first topic in this semester is wall panelings. What do you guys understand by wall panelings?
मैम वॉल पैनलिंग इज जो वॉल के ऊपर मतलब एज अ डेकोर लगाई जाती है या जहाँ पर 1 सेकेंड मोस्टली मतलब वॉल पैनलिंग्स वुड की होती हैं।
So एनीथिंग जो वॉल के ऊपर लगाया जा रहा है टू कवर इट और मे बी गिव इट अ बेटर अपीयरेंस, बेसिकली वो वॉल पैनलिंग हुई। वॉल पैनलिंग को वॉल क्लैडिंग भी बोलते हैं। इट मीन्स द सेम थिंग। क्लैडिंग मीन्स टू कवर समथिंग। सो wall paneling is basically wall cladding. Don't get confused. Wall cladding or paneling is basically a type of finish, of interior finish that we can use to make our design look better, more complete and aesthetically pleasing. But along with that, wall paneling there are other advantages and purposes as well. In cases where you have dampness, which is due to structural damage, and the only way to completely remove that dampness is to reconstruct. And if somebody doesn't want to reconstruct at the moment, or doesn't have the means to, they can go for moisture resistant wall cladding or wall paneling. So wall paneling also acts as a protective finish or addition to the interiors, and it has other advantages as well. We're going to discuss that in this class. And in this first lesson, we are first of all going to see what are interior finishes and where does wall paneling stand in among those wall interior finishes, and what different types of interior finishes or wall paneling we have that we can choose from in India, and the advantages and disadvantages of each of those examples, and also all the functional, aesthetic, and economical points or criteria that we should keep in mind while choosing the wall paneling or the material for wall paneling in any project or any interior. Just like we had some criterias or factors to consider while choosing flooring, it goes the same for any finish or any material that we add to an interior project. So let's start.
यस मैम।
So, wall panelings, materials and its types. So, wall paneling is basically a type of wall finish or interior finish. Finishing materials are very basic and integral element of any interior design or any project or any building, because finishes encompass everything ranging from plaster to wall paint to flooring, roof covering, and everything. If we don't have any kind of finish in a building, it will be considered complete. It will be considered incomplete. Because we'll have the walls which will be bare, we'll have a ceiling which will be bare again, and the floor that which will be incomplete because there is no flooring or tiles or stone anything on it. So no building or no construction is complete without finishes. They add an additional layer or coating to the constructed walls, ceilings, and floors, and they should be selected with the architectural context in mind. Like while choosing flooring, we thought about the climate or climate of the building where the building was, and the usage, who was going to use it, what color scheme we were using in that, with what the project cost was. Similar, that goes for all of the other interior finishes. So, what are all the different types of interior finishes? Finishes include flooring and wall finishes and ceiling finishes. Floor finishes may we have flooring, and then we have soft floor covering. We already know this because we've studied this in the first semester itself. We have all different types of flooring: stone, wood,
Yes, ma'am.
concrete, and epoxy and whatnot. And we have soft floor coverings like carpets and rugs. Then we have wall finishes. See, in interiors, what are the three surfaces we have? We have walls, floors, and ceilings. So we have finishes for all of them. For walls, we can use, we can just leave them bare. Let it be exposed. The brick or masonry or concrete can be exposed. We can paint them. We can plaster the walls and paint them. We can put tiles on them, which is mostly done in bathrooms and kitchens. Then we can use gypsum wall boards, which I'm sure you all have seen in false ceilings, but they can also be used for walls. They're constructed differently, and they are available in different sizes and designs, but the material is the same. Then you have wood plastic composite, which is WPC panels, and you have polyvinyl chloride panels, PVC panels, and then we can use laminates and even wood boards. For ceilings, we can use most or almost all of these finishes that we can use in walls. We can use laminates, we can use PVC panels, WPC panels, not tiles, but the tiles can be made out of gypsum or WPC or something like that. We can't use ceramic tiles or stone tiles. It won't be feasible because, in case of a mishap, it could lead to serious injury. And we can definitely paint it and definitely leave it exposed. It would mostly be exposed concrete. So, exposed concrete or brick masonry in interiors looks something like this. And for exposed brickwork, there are two options. In case of a renovation, people usually chip off the plaster and then leave the bricks bare. In that case, what you see are B class bricks. Remember, we studied different types of bricks. We have A class, B, and C class.
Yes, ma'am. First
So,
class.
yes, yes, correct. In case we go for a renovation where we didn't have exposed brickwork inside, but now we do want it. So mostly people chip off the plaster so you can see the brick wall inside it, because that's how our buildings are constructed. So in that case, you'll see B class bricks. So that is fairly unfinished, quite rough looking, because those bricks are not intended to be seen exposed. So, and paired with very clean finishes otherwise on other surfaces, flooring and other walls, it can look quite nice. See, in this case, in this example, these are B class bricks, these are not A class bricks. But if you are designing an interior, you're designing from scratch, and if you want an exposed brickwork look, then you can go for A class bricks as well, or you can also go for these tiles. You get brick tiles that can be used as cladding. So it's for exposed brick. Then you have exposed concrete, which is again, if you really want to implement that as an afterthought, then you can leave the walls bare. Or if you want to intentionally create an exposed concrete look, you can go for uh, properly finished concrete, or you can go for tiles, or even you have concrete blocks. So if the building is still being constructed, then you can opt for exposed concrete blocks to construct the building, which can form as a structural element and an interior finish as well. It has to be treated with some kind of chemical so that it doesn't you know um, rot, or doesn't get deteriorated over time. Then you have wall paints. Wall paints, we already know what wall paints are. Interiors may we can use emulsions, we can use satin finish, matte finish, glossy paints, oil paints, and different companies, different brands like Benjamin Moore, like Asian Paints, Pantone, these release color of the year or color palette of the year every year. So they set some design trends every year, and mostly you will see some combination of those paints over the course of that year, and then it changes the next year. Otherwise, if you want a classic, timeless design or finish or interior, you can opt for something simple or something more elegant. So wall paints are fairly basic. You can do plaster the walls and then paint over it using the standard procedures of wall painting, or you can even paint these wood boards. See, in this case, there is paneling and there is wall paint. See, there's wall paint behind the um, headboard of this bedroom. That's light paint. And this black paint is basically done on a partition wall that has been finished with some kind of paneling, molding, and then it has been painted. So you can do wood boards or trims on your wall. You can fix them on your wall and then paint them, or you can just paint the wall without any cladding. Then you have wall tiles. Wall tiles are mostly used in kitchens and bathrooms where there is more moisture, more humidity compared to the rest of the house or spaces. So it protects the walls from splashes and moisture and dampness, and it is easy to clean because wall paints, now you have easy to clean wall paints, but it is still not suggested to paint them in bathrooms and kitchens. And because tiles you can very easily wash and clean, but once you get dampness in your walls, it's not, you can clean your walls as much as you want, they won't look as good. Then finally we've come to wall paneling options. One of the options is gypsum wallboard. Gypsum wallboard Gypsum is basically that material you see in mostly commercial and institutional buildings, that those tiles that are in the false ceiling. They're very lightweight, they're mostly white in color, and they can be used to provide a very neat finish, seamless finish. So, gypsum wallboards are also called plaster boards. They have a core, they have a gypsum core. Gypsum is a material. Uh, just like we have engineered wood, which has a core and then it has a very thin layer of covering on either side of it. Gypsum board works the same way. It has a gypsum core, and you can have cardboard sheets on either side of it, or paper on either side of it, or you can even have paint on either side of it, on either surfaces. So, gypsum board is fire resistant, so it is very much suitable for wall cladding, false ceiling, partition systems, even in residential, institutional, and commercial structures, because you can get a lot of options. They're not limited to residential use or commercial use. They're versatile, and they have a gypsum which is non-combustible as a core, and a paper surfacing on the face and backside and on the edges. Gypsum board has very clean edges, so while assembling them, you can create seamless finishes, seamless surfaces, and they give a monolithic. Monolithic means uh, one in one piece. So, gypsum boards are designed to provide a monolithic surface when joints and fasteners are covered with joint treatment system. See, because gypsum boards don't have any fastening or grooves or anything, so they have to be either stuck or screwed onto frames, metal frames. And you can use a joint treatment system to cover the joints and even them out. Gypsum products also provide sound control, economy, versatility, quality, and convenience. So, acoustics, they provide sound insulation. They're economical because they don't cost as much. They're versatile because of all the factors we just talked about. And they're good quality, and they're convenient not only in availability but also in installation. Because they're lightweight, they can be easily transported to the site, and they can be very easily installed. Then the vast majority of the synthetic gypsum is a byproduct of the process used to remove pollutants from the exhaust created by burning of fossil fuels. So, thermal power plants, factories, and other industries that emit uh, a lot of pollutants and exhaust can be used, and that pollutants can be removed from that exhaust, and it can be used to create this synthetic gypsum. And mostly all the materials or the paper used in covering the faces or and the edges of the gypsum board is made from newspapers and waste recycled paper. So it is also sustainable and environmentally friendly. So because gypsum board is so versatile and it can be easily cut and transported and bent, you can achieve a lot of different designs and shapes with gypsum boards. And it can be very easily repaired and adapted to all forms of decoration. You can paint them, you can mm, paste another finish on it. If you get bored and if you want to refurbish your interior, you don't have to remove the gypsum board paneling. You can just paint it or refurbish it. And because it is so structurally sound and strong, it is also used in wooden constructions as dry walls or wall panels. You have a wooden frame, like we have a concrete frame structure in Asian countries. In Western countries, you have wooden frames for buildings, and those wooden frames can be covered with just gypsum boards, so that eases the structural load a little bit. That's why they're also called dry walls. And because they're lightweight and they are available in large size panels, you only need a few workers on site to handle the panels and install them. So the labor cost also decreases. And they can also be uh, used with adhesives, so you can stick them to any surface. You If you have a wall, and if you want, suppose you have gypsum boards like these, you have 3D gypsum boards also available. So if you want to create something interesting, so you don't need a frame or anything, you can also just stick them onto the wall surface. Then they are proven to be fire resistant, and they're good with sound insulation. They can Uh, they because they're so lightweight, they can very easily be used in ceilings. That is why you have mostly gypsum board fall ceiling now instead of POP, because the gypsum board is very easy. You can easily remove panels. See, POP is stuck to the fall ceiling, right? You can't just remove it and fix anything within the ceiling. If you want to remove POP, you have to destroy the design. But in gypsum boards, because they're so lightweight, if they're suspended from a metal frame, they can easily be unscrewed and removed, and you can fix whatever is maybe the wiring or anything that is going on in within the false ceiling, and you can put them back.
Ma'am, what is the life of this board?
What is the
Life. मतलब
what is
कितने
the
टाइम
life
तक
of?
चल-
It is very long lasting unless there is water damage, like unless you have water damage in the false ceiling, you have some kind of leakage and water just keeps dripping onto it, it will damage that part of it. Otherwise, if it is in good quality and well maintained, then it will last for years.
we can use in humidity area.
You can use it in humid areas, but like I said, it is not good if it keeps getting wet all the time. Obviously, it will be damaged. But if the climate is humid, it doesn't affect the gypsum board as much.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like concrete is good with humidity, but if there's leakage within a concrete wall, then it will damage the concrete also. So it is strong, but within reason. So gypsum wall boards are also available like these plain simple boards which can be installed, and then you can put uh, joint treatment system in the joints and even them out. So it looks like a very even plain wall. Or you can have these 3D designs. There's a lot of 3D designs available in gypsum boards. so to add texture and without adding too much weight. Then you have WPC boards for wall cladding. WPC is basically wood plastic composite. What does composite mean? What do you understand by composite? Hmm?
मैम कंपोजिट मीन्स मतलब किन्हीं दो चीज़ों को कंपोज करके एंड देन
Composite means it is composite means it is a mixture of two things basically. It is a new anything, any new material or any new object created by completely homogeneously mixing two different things is called composite. It's called a composite material.
मैम पीपीटी नहीं दिख रही।
दिखेगी एक सेकंड. See, wood plastic composite means it is a composition of wood and plastic. So wood pulp and plastic thermoplastic is combined to form this material, and the important thing to notice here is that it is it is made with wood pulp and thermoplastic, so the end result is quite viscous. So while it's setting, you can change its shape and mold it into any form, arched or bent shapes. Just 1 second. Wood plastic composite is a material created from a unique blend of natural wood and plastic fibers. This wood can either be sawdust, pulp, bamboo, peanut hulls, unused woodworking materials, anything. Any wood product can be made into a pulp and used to create wood plastic composite. Then you have plastic. Plastic is in this case is mostly thermoplastic, so it is heat resistant and it can withstand a wide range of temperature changes. So the ultimate material that comes out of this is very wide ranging. It is very versatile and it can withstand almost any and every climate condition or environmental condition. And considering that we can use any form of wood, so we can also use waste wood from sawmills or dust that is a residual waste material from industries, and that lends this material a lot of sustainability points. Then wood plastic composite can be created entirely from recycled materials like we just discussed, and the wood can be collected from C&D operations. C&D operations means construction and demolition operations. So wood product manufacturing facilities can also provide this wood, and even old wood plastic composite panels, like existing panels, can also be recycled to make new ones. So it is 100% recyclable. And because wood plastic composite is created from a substance that starts as a paste, wood pulp, it can be molded to any shape and size, including arches or bent shapes. And this flexibility extends to color as well. WPC can be dyed or painted. So it you can have any different type of textures, wooden textures, colors, finishes. So that's another great point about WPC. It is moisture resistant and rot resistant, so it doesn't rot. Bacteria and fungus doesn't affect WPC. Moisture or humidity doesn't affect WPC. So it lasts a lot. It is very durable, and it is obviously aesthetically pleasing, and it remains aesthetically pleasing. And it is more heat resistant than normal wood. So it can be used in locations and contexts जहाँ पे normal wood cannot be used because it may get damaged, it may bend, it can warp. So humid locations, coastal areas. WPC is uniquely equipped to handle changes in weather with less damage than the average material. So changes in weather also don't affect it. So let's say weather, rot, chemicals, temperature difference, moisture, nothing affects WPC and it is completely recyclable. And this is what it looks like. You get these long, narrow panels which have a and lip on one side and a groove on the other side, which fit seamlessly within each other like this. So you get these narrow panels and you can install them piece by piece and just interlock them to create a nice design. These also have a lip over here. Let's see. The WPC is high density. What happens? What's the advantage of being high density? It means that it won't dent, it won't get damaged. If you have a wall paneling, if you move furniture around, suppose in an office behind the chair you have this wall paneling and this chair hits the wall over and over as you get up and sit down, that won't be a problem because it is very high density, so it doesn't dent easily. Doesn't get damaged due to physical um, activity. Then it is clean and odorless. Normally, plastic products have a very chemical and toxic kind of odor to them, but in this case, there is no such odor. It is very clean, it smells clean, and then it is lightweight because it is made from wood pulp and plastic. It is lightweight and it is strong because it is a composite material. Usually, you should always keep in mind that composite materials are always stronger than those two individual materials. Just say uh, you have a glass fiber concrete. So it is a composite of glass fiber and concrete, but it is stronger than both glass fiber and concrete. So in this case, WPC is stronger than both wood and plastic. Then it is bacteria and fungus resistant, so it doesn't rot. It is waterproof, 100% waterproof, 100% recyclable. And you can also, the product itself is 100% recyclable, and the individual um, materials required for the production of this are also recyclable, can be recycled, can be waste materials. So it is good on both ends. Because why is this important? Why am I repeating this over and over again? Is because a lot of times you will get this uh, marketing gimmick that, oh, this product is absolutely sustainable and um very sustainable material, and it is 100% recyclable. Like for example, mm, jute bags. Jute bags are supposed to be a very good replacement for plastic bags. However, for just one second. Jute bags are supposed to be very good for the environment, but the amount of energy that is required to create a jute bag is far more than those recyclable plastic bags. You know, you have those biodegradable plastic bags that decompose completely uh, in a very short amount of time. But what happens is, to create this jute bag, you need cotton and you need bleached cotton to create that nice white end product. So the process of bleaching that amount of jute and cotton to create this product is creating far more nuisance than these biodegradable plastic bags. So sure, the material that you get, the jute, is biodegradable, but creating that products is also taking a lot of energy. So you have to be careful. You have to look at the whole process, the whole life cycle of any product to justify or to understand whether it is really recyclable or not, whether it is really good for the environment or not. Okay, so I digress. WPC is 100% termite and borer proof. So, like plywood, the termites will not affect it. Even though it is made out of wood, uh, though the wood critters don't affect WPC. It is uh, it is formaldehyde, phenol, and toxic free. It is easy for toxic free. It is easy for cutting and sewing. So compared to wood, it can be easily cut and sawed. So it is easy to install in cases you need to cut it and you need to shape it for to fit into corners or something. Uh, then it also offers high impact resistance means, again, any impacts or physical impacts or um, things like that won't affect its shape or form. Then it offers good nail and screw holding capacity. Means it it offers matlab you can either glue it, and if you don't want to glue it, you can also screw it or nail it into the wall using hardware. Then wall with WPC boards offer good water resistance and moisture resistance. Again, we have already talked about this. And it is fade resistant and it can be used for making durable partition or wall. Why is this important? Why is fade resistance important? It is because we can also use it outside. See, because it is 100% waterproof, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And it is 100% termite proof, and it is good with humidity. It can bear temperature changes and everything. So what happens is it is quite good for exterior uses as well. You can. Uh, use them, for example, term wood product, timber panels are can only be used in exteriors successfully. You can if you want, you can put anything anywhere. I mean, it will get damaged, but you can use it. But it can mostly be successfully used in Western countries that have mostly cold climates. So in climates like in India, in subtropical climates, you cannot you shouldn't use wood and wood products because um, when it rains, when there's high humidity, it will warp and it will rot. But instead, WPC is very good in all of those conditions, so it can be used in exteriors and it comes in a lot of different finishes. So that's another plus point. See, it is being used in interiors. So these groove-like panels, I'm sure if you keep looking on Pinterest, you must have seen a lot of interiors with these groove-like designs.
Yes, ma'am.
So those are, I can give you 100% guarantee that that is not real wood. It is either PVC or this, or even charcoal sheets. These come in these groove-like patterns. This is a cut part of a long panel. These are usually 6 inches wide and 10 feet tall. So it can cover the whole height of your wall. And they come in these patterns, and what you can do is, this is the lip, correct? And is on this end here you have a groove, and this lip fits into the groove of another panel. So it creates this completely seamless wall, and it seems as if you have, layered wood and wood panels on top of each other, but that's not the case. This is fairly easy to install. And here in this case you have more narrow, thinner panels, but the installation, if you see here, is same. And if you notice, then the walls, the fence, the deck, everything is made out of WPC. So when we were talking about high impact resistance, means it will be fine even if you walk on it. So you can use it in decks, on flooring, on terrace gardens or something like that. You can use it there as well, because it won't rot and it won't get damaged if you walk on it, because of its high density. See, everything is related, all of the advantages are related. If you understand what it means, what high density means, why is it good, you will understand most of the properties, and you will also get a very good idea of where you can use it. Then you have PVC panels. PVC panels are basically polyvinyl chloride panels. These are a cheaper substitute, much cheaper substitute of wood and even WPC. Uh, WPC and PVC में there's not a lot of rate difference, but yeah, sure, PVC is cheaper because it is made completely out of plastic. It is made out of polyvinyl chloride, which is a form of plastic, and it offers a lot of the similar advantages when it comes to resistance to fire, water, bacteria, fungus, chemicals, heat, and light. It is also it is also I'm sorry. It also provides sound insulation, and it can also be substituted for aluminium, wood, and other composites, because it works in the same way. It looks almost the same. The exact same patterns can be printed on it because it has a smooth surface. You can print any kind of texture on it, be it marble, be it wood, or even floral patterns, or any kind of pattern. and it has high thermal resistance, and it has acoustic insulation properties, and it is flame retardant and self extinguishes. What it means is, normally if you burn a piece of plastic, it will melt and start dripping. It doesn't exactly catch fire, it kind of melts. But PVC, because it is a treated form of plastic, what happens is it will kind of shrink in the part jahan pe flame is close to it, but then it will slowly, as it gets away from the flame, it will stop melting and burning and shrinking, and it will just put the fire out by itself. And it is not moisture absorbent, it has anti-shock qualities. Means if you use it in partition walls, or even wall partitions, what happens is, if there is a lot of movement in a room on the other side, if you have PVC paneling on all the walls on both rooms, you won't feel the noise or the vibrations in the other room as much. The colors are long lasting and they don't fade as much. Then the texture is also light, and they're very portable, and they can be installed very easily. And they can be easily cut. They can be sawed, and you can put nails in them. You can put screws in them, and you can even paste them on top of other forms of surfaces. Uh, in the next class, we are going to see how all of these different types of panels are installed. And we're also going to talk about charcoal panels, which are another type of um, cladding material for walls. They're fairly new, and they are um, very environmentally friendly, but they're also quite expensive. So we're going to talk about that, and then we'll see how all of these are installed. Okay. Now,
Okay, ma'am.
no, no, no,
And
wait. Uh, for your assignment, uh, you have to do a case study of all of the different materials we studied today. Only the wall paneling ones, meaning gypsum board, WPC, and PVC.
yes, ma'am. And ma'am, marble walls are also comes in exposed concrete or brick masonry.
Marble walls, no, marble is a form of cladding. Uh, uh, we only call it exposed if, see, exposed means the construction or the construction material is exposed and you can see it and there is no covering on it. But if you want a marble finish, then you have to actually use it as a cladding material and you have to cover your wall with it, so it's not exactly exposed. Yes, basically you put a metal frame over the wall where you want to fix marble or something like that, and then you install marble on top of it. So it's not exposed, no.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so assignment is you have to do a case study for all the wall cladding materials we did today. And in that case study, these are the points that you have to take care of. The sizes available in market in Kanpur, grades available in market. See, size means what's the dimension of the panel. Grade means what are the different qualities of the same material available. Like in PVC, you'll get different qualities. One is very cheap and very poor. Then there is an industrial, commercial level PVC, which is very high in quality. So that's what I mean by grades. Then, third point, finishes available, like wood finish, marble finish, what finishes are available. Fourth point, what are the rates? Then last point, what are the local names for all of these?
Yes, ma'am.
Because all of these are important. Local names are important because, see, shopkeepers say you can somewhat mm, talk to them कि okay PVC मतलब ये, gypsum मतलब ये, but labor से बात करते time you need to know the local names, otherwise they won't understand. And okay, for this assignment, I would suggest you can use the internet, online shops, but try to restrict your searches to Kanpur or nearby areas, or at least North India.
Yes, ma'am.
And what you can do is you can in I would suggest don't go to the shops, okay? Don't go out for market study. You can call the shops. You have Google for all the phone number, you get all the listings of all the shops, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You can call them and politely inquire about all of these materials, and hopefully and they will help you out with it. So you don't have to go.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.